It's 8 o'clock. We will call the transit committee meeting to order for May 10th. We have all board members present. Proof. Oh, except John Mintz, yeah. Approval of minutes for the April 12th meeting. We have one correction in there.
I'll make that motion with the correction.
Second. Motion made, seconded. All in favor? Aye. Public comment. Anybody for transit? Staff reports on to Austin.
Meeting. May 10th. City ridership, daily run productivity, potential community afternoon revision, community route fair ideas, financials, and any questions. All right, ridership. Doorstop and Red Cedar ridership fell from 688 in March down to 520 in April, down about 24%. And in March, we had 23 service days, around 30 people a day. And then April, we had 20 service days at 26. So down just a bit. And when we talk about our daily run post, we'll be a bit as well. Community route ridership stayed level from 1573 in March to 1450 in April, down 8%. But if you look at the reduction in service days, we actually went up for riders per day. 28 service days in March, April, 25 service days, 50 days, so up to 2 riders per day. And scout ridership stayed level from 15,313 in March to 15,705, we about 2.5%. Looking at the amount of service days, 18 service days in March at 850 a day, dropped down a bit to 20 service days, April 785.
Justin, I'm just seeing the Transit Commission meetings screen. Are you advancing slides?
Yeah.
Okay. I only see the transit screen for some reason. All right, I'll just listen.
That would be something that the first slide is. Yeah, I don't know if it's
No worries. I can hear what you're saying. It works.
I can send PowerPoint to you afterwards too.
That's great. Thank you.
Okay, ridership, looking at this past year, we actually had a silver star in April, comparing it to previous years, being the second best on the Scout Day, and the Scout PM was the number one. Judging back to how this April stacked up versus the past year. Community route got a bronze star, third best ever, and then Community Saturday blew every other year out of the last Saturday was our last Community Saturday route of spring, and we will come back with the Community Saturday route around Labor Day weekend. The ridership has been good on it, but we have not done that route in the past, and for the first year of the team being on the county payroll, we wanted to get through the first year without trying to add that and have that be later on. Looking at Doorstop and Red Cedar, at 309 this month, combining that with 211 of Red Cedar, that is right up there on, up with some of the Red Cedar that we had on our April doorstop in Red Cedar dispatch route ridership. Daily run productivity, looking at it in April compared to March, but still trying to follow our zone type of scheduling that we've been doing. Even with ridership down, we've been trying to hit over that 2 riders, 2 trips per hour that we weren't hitting in January or February. Hit it in March and stayed above that threshold in April as well, even with that reduction in ridership. So just trying to stay efficient with the rides that we are doing out there, and carpooling on the bus as much as we can. Okay, so with not doing the community Saturday, one, how can we be, how can we help without adding much more cost, or if any, onto that community route schedule? And to this point, we've been ending the Edgewood and 28 as our last stop at 4 o'clock. Well, to get back to the transit building, that bus drives past all the way down to number 8. So we might not get hardly any riders going back out to those, but that wouldn't cost anything to extend the route to that point. And how this jives so well is if the Scout PM route ended up going to that hybrid Scout with one community north loop built in later that night, if this route just went to number 7 at 4:26, that Scout PM driver would be already getting on his route, going right past all the rest of it, getting to the clock tower and being able to finish that route. If fall came and the Scout students wanted to do that, that would be an easy switch and everything would be seamless for going from the day to night without adding on more hours. The feedback that our drivers got this semester was on the community route, we take a lot of students and community members to work on the north side of town, that they're done between 4 and 5. They can get the ride out there, but they need an Uber or take a taxi back. If just during the summer, we don't run that first loop anyways, so that driver can come in at 7:30 instead of 7 like the school year, and they start at 7:52 at Red Cedar Falls. That route, if we just extended this 1 hour for the summer, that would allow those kids and community members to use the bus on the way back, and it would also give our drivers a little bit more hours a day. So that was a potential idea.
Austin, would this be a 5-day a week?
Yep. So we got rid of this is a Saturday route outlined in bold here, and this we don't do during the summer. Never have. We really haven't think about this year, but I have to wait 1 more year to do that. But an easy, small compromise to help out would be to extend it during the week during the summer, 1 hour, and see how it goes. And then if the Scout students wanted to do that hybrid, this would already kind of be in place to get them the stops they needed later. Biggest feedback we get on the Scout ridership survey is the Kennedy bus doesn't. So running that hybrid fixes that, but also during the 4 o'clock hour, this by itself is a good start. Nothing we gotta decide on today, but it's something to maybe discuss and think about. Questions on that?
When would you want? Summer's around the corner.
I know. Would be, this is pretty easy to implement, especially if it's, you know, if it's even just, through stop 8. That's an easy fix. With adding on to the route, this could be voted on next meeting and, implemented.
Next meeting will be like June
Yep.
10th, 11th,
Yep.
something like that,
Yep.
you know, and
Yep.
I think Scouts summer school session will be started by then.
Yeah.
If I remember the dates from back in the day.
Mhm.
So.
Yeah.
You need just like a motion, just something we need to make a motion on, is that what you're thinking, or is it just, you're still working out the
This
dynamics?
isn't changing the route, it's just adding on.
You evidently want to think about it.
I'm mobile. I just wanted to get input and I think it's a good idea.
I think it does too.
We could roll with it and it could be, you know, starting tomorrow is when there's no scout route and it's at 4:30. So that's when kind of the summer hours come. So
Yeah, it's kind of
this could be implemented.
a couple week deal here where it's a little more quiet around.
Yeah.
Because they're kind of leaving and
Move
getting
out week.
organized for summer and.
We could implement this June 1st. And I think that.
Yeah, get it out there for
Okay.
a little bit, get the advertising or whatever.
We go with a full till 5.
Yeah.
See how it goes.
Yeah, we're
So
going
Okay.
give it.
look at the numbers after a while and see what it is.
Yeah, and the thing is that I've seen in the past couple of years with implementing things, give it time.
Right, you gotta go.
Taken. This is 3 years into this route, and we're finally seeing the numbers really increase. So, okay, I will get that made. Okay, this is something that we have time on, and I think it'd be better to implement this around the beginning of second semester or August 1st. But potential community route fare ideas. Previous fare up until 2020 was 75 cents for seniors and disabled, $1.50 for non-senior, non-disabled, and then free UW Scout student fare. Future fare ideas. My idea would be $1 across the board. Free UW Scout student fare, and then something that would have to be $25, but a monthly pass at a small discount, especially for our riders that ride it, high volume, with an implementation date around 8/1 or 9/1. That way, you know, for the summer, whoever's here can utilize that free bus a little more, and we have time to get this communicated to the riders. We were around $7,000 shy on our fares the past couple of years to get close to that $45,000 income. That we were able to increase our doorstop and red cedar, but at $1 a ride, we're already at 5,000. We're at 2022. We were at 7,000 riders for the year. We're already at 5 this year within 4 months. So even if ridership decreases a bit, that'll make up the difference that we need to get to right around that $45,000 mark, which has kind of been the benchmark since before I've been here and since I've been here for what we've tried to get for fare revenue.
So if you go to $1 straight across.
Yep.
And $25 monthly pass, wouldn't you want that monthly pass a little bit cheaper to get them? Because a lot of times you only go in 25 days that month anyhow. So would that be a little more incentive maybe to have a little bit cheaper so they would get a monthly pass?
Usually twice a day, they're riding.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm open to open to ideas. It used to be 30 or 35. And, you almost had to ride it 5 times a day. Worth it, so,
Cause all these rates, you know, seem like they're pretty reasonable. to
Yeah.
me.
yes, and, we have, the, transportation committee for the doorstop route, that's something that can be voted on in December. But what we can do is, work on this route fair. So,
Are you back to cash handling then?
yep,
Okay.
yep, so it'd be on that, and, this summer we look at too, when we had our county cook out here, we talked a little bit about some sort of card reader, but, it's something we need to get to.
Yeah.
It's a bit of an implementation. And also at the same time, the students, when going to something like this, we're gonna have to ask for their IDs.
Right.
Which we didn't, you know, while everything was free. So, but if we do end up going to those card reader things, for tracking review, that'll be just a good, every bus they get on.
Well, that's still, I mean, that's still a table of students who have some funds for that card reader plan that would utilize your tablets. And so maybe that they have a dual purpose.
Then they'll get in the habit pretty quick of no matter what bus they're on, just pull it out, so.
I have my tech guys looking for a wireless card reader solution, so then, you know, wires routed everywhere, so.
Yeah.
And then tap.
But, any other discussion on this? This is something we could, discuss more next meeting. And also, you know, we got 3 to 4 meetings before that date, so. I can bring this back up next meeting.
I would just bring it back. to the meeting.
Okay. Keep rolling. 2023 financial. Right now, this is calculating if we went on every month with our heavy payroll that we do, through the school year. And it's sitting right at, negative $2,500. We go from 52 hours a day down to 36 starting tomorrow. So this will balance up good, through the summer and, give us a nice buffer before, the fall semester comes. And that's one thing that, you know, keeping that summer Saturday going, I didn't want that to tip the scale for us. Dustin charges us so much money for diesel fuel over here.
Yeah, we know.
We've already spent 12,400. 2023 budget is 24. If you look back at what we spent, in previous years, this one is going to be our outlier, like last year. So just, staying conservative on our other line items, but also we're going from 5 routes down to 3 starting tomorrow. So a lot less buses on the road, and what, diesel right now is still a lot higher than gas. So we have a gas bus actually on the scout route today. We could have almost yesterday afternoon, and, we have one today, and not that it's huge, but saves a little bit. And any other questions on this? I have the whole printout of every line item on the last page of your package. Any other questions on this?
How much does the, scout rate goes up then? If you're gonna, if raise the rates, then like scout would be in the same ratio?
There is on a subsidy as well as the city of Menominee. Scout, before I even asked to raise our rate, they raise 3%
Okay.
for this next, academic calendar contract. When I go to the city in, September or October of this year, the city, subsidy is not increased in 10 or 12 years. That needs to increase. So we'll be asking for that. So any help that night is appreciated. From what I've seen in the city council meetings I've been on, it's not the easiest. But it's very justifiable, especially with what we're seeing for increase in ridership tenfold in the community route, which is for the public. Everything else has gone up. It's pretty easy to see. So when it gets close to that, I'll reach out to everybody for another help on that. If you'd like to attend the meeting and speak on it, I'll be there.
I don't speak for the students, but I'm in their room, and so, you know, they did come forward on their own for last year for the 3% increase, but I was in the room where they said, we don't think we're gonna be coming forward this year, and they really did, they looked at the city and they said the city needs to step up since it's their turn, so.
Yeah.
Other questions?
Dustin, what level of increase are you looking for from the city? Ballpark, range.
Oh,
I know we're at a car dealership right now, right?
and you know, it's just it makes it hard talking about this when it doesn't get talked about for a long time. Like when I asked to get the doorstop rate increased from $3 to $4, seems like a lot. But when that rate hasn't increased in 10 years either, you know, $3.10 for 10 years would have brought us to $4 by now. But for this, I think we could all discuss this as a committee and see what potential range would be between maybe 5 and 10%.
Okay. Let me know.
Yeah, let me know your thoughts too.
Well, with 12 years, I can understand that 10% does not seem unreasonable. I mean, less than 1% a year.
Yeah.
Increase. However, you know, obviously want to save the city money as well.
No,
But if we lose transit, that's not a happy outcome. So
no, and I think it's been as good now for the community as it ever has been. Less people are coming up to me telling me they see empty buses around town. So, he had 16 on the bus at one time on his last loop on Saturday.
I think,
16.
thinking out loud, you know, Menominee is the only community within our county that has this bus service available to its citizens and other business entities and et cetera. And, you know, so I think, you know, that's another on in our corner or whatever. I'm not trying to make it sound like that, like we got to play this game or whatever, but, you know, another, and I know it's the biggest city too, but I get all that, but, you know, it seems like it's time to make a change there. And
Yeah, it's one more small thing that the city has to offer to
yeah,
its
right.
residents.
Yeah, it's a really positive option.
Yep, that's the vibe we're trying to get out as well. Thank you, everyone.
Anything else?
Just one question. You're talking about the high price of fuel. How's that going to help the bottom line once we go all electric? Short answer.
But once that solar field gets made, that would really cut down.
Okay.
Until then, it's very hard to know what it's gonna cost for the grid on charging those. Most of it will be at night, hopefully not during peak surge hours. But until they get here, it's really hard to calculate that. Hopefully it's positive. And that's some of the reason why that budget was kept the way it was or reduced for the past 3 years. Thought they'd be here by now. So,
Wait and see, huh?
yep,
Well, based on today's diesel, it means it has to be a positive, right? Yeah,
so we'll see.
but it's not free.
I think.
Let's see.
Anything else? It's 8:30. We'll call the highway committee meeting to order for April 12th. Roll call, and we have everyone present. Approval of minutes from last meeting.
Move we approve.
Motion been made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Public comment. Do you want to start with the verbal stuff or the written stuff?
I would say probably the people here.
Yep. Anybody want public comment? Talk first. Okay, Bob.
I guess if Bob could come up here. Just so we can hear you,
We want to hear you.
or if you can talk really, really loud.
Yeah, that's.
Bob Cook, Chairman, Town of Red Cedar. And I'm here to urge passage of ATV usage on the county road system. And I understand that it would not be Highway B, because that is our most dangerous, busiest road. But I do not see ATV traffic as a dangerous affair on the highways. It is no more dangerous to be operating an ATV or to be driving behind one or meeting one than it is to be traveling our road system and people walking, pets, bicycles, farm machinery, provided that the ATV operators and equipment have met the laws that are required as far as age of operator, helmets if required, number of people on a vehicle, speed. The town of Red Cedar does not really care about the hours of operation. We had put forth to the WTA a list of hours, days, speeds, and it was voted on by the towns, and I believe the majority at the time wanted an hourly time, like just before sunset and just after dark. And I'm hearing complaints that it's too difficult to know it's a half an hour before sunrise or half an hour after sunset. And if they want to go to 24 hours a day, that's fine by us, but we all know that nothing good comes out of being out there after dark, late at night, and it only gets worse if alcohol is involved. As far as days of the year, full year round, fine. Speed, 35 miles an hour. You know, some may say that may be a problem because they're too slow on the road. Well, so is farm machinery. Yet we still continue to have those accidents, and they're much larger to be seen. Much of this problem lies with the auto drivers. They're either speeding, not paying attention, alcohol impaired or drug impaired, and a lot of it is just poor consideration on their part. I don't know how many times I've been passed with a vehicle on double yellow lines. It's just complete disregard for. I got passed in the city out here going 25 last night. That is our comment. I hope that we can come to an agreement. I'm sure that it'll improve enforcement. Right now, the sheriff's department is just torn up. They don't know what to do about it. And opening the county system up, we won't have people illegally using the county roads. I just think it'd be a good thing. Thank you.
Anyone next? Anybody want to talk? This is the only time you get.
Well, I will.
Eric.
My name is Eric Schultz. I'm the president of the ATV Association here in Dunn County. This has been an ongoing thing. Bob said a mouthful there, and he's very accurate. It sure would improve law enforcement across the board for everybody and make it easier to keep a handle on things. There's a lot to be said with the more of less for traffic. The more that's open, the less per road you will have. A lot of the problems that are being had, such as Otter Creek, is most likely local residents that are riding and doing what they're doing. And to be able to get the law enforcement, to get everybody on the same piece of music here across the board is what the ATV Association has been all about all along. And it opens up a lot of revenue for the county. And speaking off the cuff here for Randy Knack, the mayor of Menominee, they are telling us that depending on what the county does, depends on what they do. They are on the hinge of opening the vast majority of the conversation that's been had. They're very much, Randy wanted to be here, he was triple booked, so he could not come. I think that is all I have with the question.
Anybody else want to speak?
I will. Tony Byer, Voiceful Snow Jammers. I just wanted to comment on, post in the paper here 3 weeks ago about Otter Creek Township and last board meeting, whatever, county board, about ATVs speeding, tearing up dirt roads, all this stuff. And I get it, our law enforcement is not heavy enough to be, or they can't be at every place at every time when things are going on, but we have a lot of dirt roads in New Haven Township. Our club started this process back in '09, getting townships and villages and signage. We spent a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of footwork. But the whole point is we have vehicles whipping donuts, tearing up these dirt roads just as much as ATVs. I get it. I'm huge into the snowmobile side of it. We got that 2-3% that give everybody a bad name. And the ATV side of it still got that 2-3% that is out there. And I don't know. I wish there's a way you could control it, but it's not going to happen. I mean, I just want these townspeople that are complaining about the ATVers speeding, whipping donuts, tearing up dirt roads, but they should also look at the residents that are driving the vehicles doing the same thing. Because they're not coming to every meeting to that. They're just complaining for the neighbor. Involve and do it as a community and huge revenue for all the area business and what we're trying to do with it. It's growing fast, about 10-15 years. The state is not keeping up. They can't make rules fast enough to work. Look at all these other counties. I don't know if Dunn County or anybody has reached out to Polk County just to see what kind of negativity they've had. And I don't know. Clear County, I don't know, telling you or not, they were open outside county roads, not city roads. Quite a few counties, the only thing, and it's going past the.
Is there anybody in the room that against it that wants to speak? Or is everybody here for it? Okay. Okay. I guess otherwise we'll go to reading the email.
So this is an email that was received with public comment. It says, "Dear Dunn County Highway Committee, I watched and reviewed the March meeting. Here are my concerns as a lifelong tax-paying and voting resident. I am in favor of opening all county roads as was passed last fall by the Highway Committee. Here are my thoughts on this and many others in Dunn County. We pay property tax on our land and gas tax for all terrain units. Also maintenance items that are purchased in Dunn County that benefits everyone in our beautiful township. It benefits big and small businesses in Dunn County as well. We don't restrict travel hours for vehicles, motorcycles, tractors, etc., or what roads they can travel on, so we should have the freedom to do the same with our ATVs and UTVs. I want to be able to tell our friends and fellow riders that our county is open for tourism and business. Yes, I can say you will see some more traffic with the passage, but opening the county is more about freedom and to ride to a friend or relatives on the county road XYZ. I can support adding in safety measures and penalties as some suggested, but that is if the whole county opens except part of B as mentioned last fall. I think opening the county and having extra safety features will also help law enforcement to be able to knowingly be able to enforce a rider that may be in the wrong. I see Otter Creek's concern, and if they are saying young kids are out there riding, it is most likely the neighbors' kids who maybe they should talk to directly. As far as accidents, most of them happen on private property and not on the trail or road system. We all know you will get the one rider that will act up and that will be the same as if it's a vehicle, cycle, etc. So we shouldn't punish the rest. I have a current road route going past my place and it's on a hill, so there is more throttle noise. I can tell you that it is quite quiet compared to semi-tractors and motorcycles going by. I really hope you will consider opening the county in 24/7 because tax dollars are generated around the clock. Stanton Township, Sam Zern." Please consider opening up county roads for many people have done who would use them, plus all the businesses that will benefit from it. I feel it would be a win-win for the majority of the county with many neighborhoods, counties already open. Thank you for considering Dan Lean. Dale Lean. Good evening. My name is Todd Miller. I have lived in Ridgeland for over 40 years. My wife and I, along with numerous family members and friends, are active in the recreational sport of UTV, ATV. As you may know, Barron County now has open access for riding on their county roads. Therefore, we will believe this will increase their rides and therefore money spent at their businesses and overall increase in tourist activity. We would like to be able to ride into Dunn County more to get them the same opportunities. We would also like to see increased travel into our village, helping our economy as well. Please consider the benefits of opening county roads to UTV, ATV access. Todd Miller. Hello, I have been an ATV, UTV owner for several years. I love it. Trail riding is my favorite, but I also like just getting on my machine and riding anywhere. Please consider opening the county roads for ATV, UTV use like Barron County and Rusk County. We need county roads to get from point A to B to support a local establishment. Small businesses depend on the community to support them. The use of county roads in addition to the trail system will benefit tourism as well. Andy Miller. Whom it may concern, being a resident of Dunn County, living in O'Galley, and an active member of Dunn on 4 ATV UTV Club, I write this comment in favor of opening all county roads for ATV UTV use. Some of the other counties around us have already opened all county roads for ATV UTV use. Pepin, Buffalo, and Pierce, to name some of the bordering neighbors, have opened all their roads for use. Understanding there will still be a need to have some restricted road use because of traffic volume and such, which can be determined and agreed upon by all concerned, and that is a concern we also share. The sport of riding ATV UTVs has grown exponentially over the last few years, fueled somewhat by the COVID pandemic, but was growing greatly even before that situation, and all indications are that it will only continue. People explore the great areas that are bound within the county and the state. Economic benefits for the communities we visit while are out traveling are enhanced also, very much appreciated by business owners. We would hope this would be taken into consideration. We, Dunn on 4, appreciate the efforts put forth by the departments with Dunn County Highway Department to date, and hope that we can come together and finalize getting the rest of the county roads opened up. It will help within the law enforcement community also, without having no wonder if a rider is somehow in violation or not also. There will always be a few bad seeds who disobey signs, right-of-ways, limits, etc., but we try to keep on the top of these things. Dunn County clubs, as best we can, and encourage all riders to follow the ordinances set by the county, state, and with the communities within which we will all operate. Van Swanson. Public comments to the Highway Committee for the May 10th meeting. Last week, I witnessed for 3 days on the town I live on 830th Avenue, constant liquid manure trucks from a local CAFO. Some of these trucks were as big as semi-trucks. I know that Dunn County has a wheel tax, as a tax shared with township roads. It is my understanding that these large trucks don't even have to be licensed. Is this true? What I've witnessed over the years I have lived there, here is the farm equipment continues to get larger, and many township roads do not have much of the shoulder to pull off. I've been told the townships can't have a wheel tax. I'm very aware of the lack of funding from the state for roads in the form of shared revenue. So the combination of ATV, UTV traffic, 35 miles an hour, mixed with manure hauling trucks, it was quite a sight. These manure trucks were running after dark as well, which maybe there could be something done relating to this. Dunn County Highway Department does a great job overall, and maybe I'm preaching to the choir. Harry Nichols. Hello, we are anxiously awaiting for the Dunn County highways roads to be open as UTV, ATV routes. Thank you for moving forward with this initiative. Thanks, Lisa Topper, Justin Topper, Jeff Sand, Mary Beth Sand, Charlie Topper, and Shannon Topper. This email is support of opening the Dunn County roads to ATVs and UTVs. As members of the Muddy Creek Club in Elk Mound, we would like to see Dunn County follow suit with many of the neighboring counties and allow the use of ATVs and UTVs on most county roads. Thank you for cooperation. Luke and Dawn, I don't even know if it's Suzuki. I don't know if I'd want to butcher that, but to whom it may concern, I am unable to attend the meeting tomorrow, so I hope an email will show my support in hopes of getting the new ATV routes approved. I think it would be a great addition to our community and also a great asset for local small businesses around the area. Being a small business owner in the area and just having trails routes approved recently, we have noticed that having the routes to our business has helped bring people into our place. We also, as a family, love to go riding. Besides camping out, riding ATV, UTV is our favorite pastime. It would be great to be able to get to other local areas as well. So I surely hope you consider on adding new routes. If you have any questions, please let me know. Nikki Scherer. Please vote to open all county roads in Wisconsin to ATVs and UTVs. Lisa Quilling. My name is Carl Kolek, and I live in Dunn County, and I would like to see the roads open for ATV traffic. Please open all county roads to ATV, UTV use. Mark Quilling. I support opening the county roads for ATV, UTV use. Brandon Jack. I am writing to express our support of opening up more routes for ATV UTVs to use in Dunn County. On behalf of all of us at Ron Prochnow Farms, thank you for your consideration. Ron Prochnow, Tara Prochnow. I'd like to express our support in opening up the roads in Dunn County for ATV and UTVs. There could be so many positives. I could take my machine to AirTech for service without trailing it. There are so many businesses that could get to and support financially. Our sons and grandchildren all ride, and they do not presently have ATV route access, so we could go to where they live. There are so many people asking where to ride. I would support local tourism. It would support local tourism. Make connecting with other counties so much easier. Please vote in support of this. Larry and Carla Prochnow. I understand that there is an upcoming meeting in regards to ATV, UTV using county roads in Dunn County. As a lifelong resident of Dunn County, I support the opening of county roads for ATV, UTV use. If you have any questions, please call Christy Holcomb. On behalf of Larson Farms, we are in support of opening up the county roads for ATVs and UTVs. Stan and Linda Larson. Hi, I am just sending you an email to let you know me and my family are in favor of opening up more routes in Dunn County for all of us to enjoy. It is one of our favorite things to do as a family. Steve Hoffman. To the board members whom we trust with making the right decisions for our community, I just wanted to give my 2 cents on the matter of ATV use on the county roads. As a family of 4 with both ATVs and UTVs, I am completing for road use. We enjoy going for family rides to get dinner, travel to the kids' baseball games, to our favorite fishing spots. My mother-in-law and father-in-law also join us in their side-by-sides, and I'm sick of having to trailer north just to do something we enjoy as a family. We live on a dead-end road off of County Road D with no legal way to get to the trails. We all have ATV, UTV safety and no proper signals. Please consider this as a family sport recreation to get families outside and enjoy our time together. Thanks, Felicia Prochnow. To whom it may concern, I am writing to voice my opinion on voting to open all roads aside from state highways to the use of ATVs and UTVs. I urge you to vote in favor for this topic. Myself, family, and friends enjoy riding on the listed trails, but opening all roads would benefit not just us, but more local businesses, giving essentially all businesses a chance for increased revenue. Finally, we are taxpayers, and we should have the same right as any other vehicle to operate without restriction. I strongly urge you to open all Dunn County roads to use ATV and UTV. I appreciate your time, Jake Starkey. Good evening. I am writing to you for the Boyceville Area Snow Jammer, Snowmobile, and ATV Club. Please know that we are in full support of opening county roads for ATV and UTV use. We feel that there are many good things that would come from opening most county roads. ATVs would be able to access more routes that are already established. It would generate more revenue for all businesses, not just the ones that are along the routes. And it would alleviate a lot of confusion for folks as to what roads are open to ATVs and what is not. We could post no ATV signs versus signing every single road open in the county townships. The Boyceville Area Snow Jammers have been very instrumental in getting routes open in the county and local townships. We've been working on getting routes open since 2008, and the first of them opened in 2009 in the village of Boyceville and New Haven Township. There has been a lot of collaboration through the years between clubs, townships, county, and the police departments to get us where we are now. I'm asking you to finish the work we started 14 years ago, open the county roads. Thank you, President Brad Klinger, Vice President Stephen O'Connell, Secretary Treasurer Jody Klinger, Board Members Jenna Bear, Fire, Tristan Talmadge, Robert I support of opening county roads to ATV, UTV use. Ross Peters. My name is Jamie Robbins. I am a member of Dunn on 4 ATV UTV Club. I think it would be great if all county roads would be open. It would be very beneficial for all business, not just ours. As a parent, I would like to have my son to park or beach to a park. Take my son to a park or beach with my UTV and not take a car. There are also many UTVs around. Many friends of mine have recently bought UTVs after listening to me talking about the fun I have on rides and benefits. Since the first ATV and UTV came out, the safety of them have come a long way. You can get turn signals, lighted wipes for visibility, light bars, and night riding horns and lighted license plate holders. Jamie Robbins. That's all I have. Public comment.
All right. That will take care of public comment then. Number 5, item place request for ATV, UTV belt routes discussion. And we're gonna discuss that, and then we're gonna have it down here too.
Yeah, I just put that on there just because that was request to put as an action item again.
So that was my question, if, you know, having it in 2 different places, if if it can be moved or it can't be moved,
Well,
you know, can action be made on it? Like,
that's what I'm wondering too. and if
Right
we could
now,
move up
if-
number 8.
To move on
Yeah.
to number, everybody's in favor of
Can
moving
we do that?
8B up to now, I guess.
I guess, are you sure you want to do, like, that would be just the ordinance. You want to take an action item again to open the request originally?
Not sure what you're.
yeah, I'm not sure either.
Are you revisiting your decision from the fall, or are you deciding on the ordinance?
I would say we're deciding on the ordinance.
Okay.
Unless if somebody wants to.
Consider.
Move it on, right?
Right. That's what I'm looking at is to actually move the ordinance on instead of revisiting that. Now, if somebody wants to revisit that, that's.
Yeah, I mean, if we don't want to take it as an action item, we can basically cross off that 7F.
Oh, okay.
That's what I had on there.
Oh,
just
okay, I didn't see that.
county
there. Okay,
ATV
I'm sorry, I
route,
didn't see that there. Okay.
If that makes sense.
I see what you're saying now. Do we want to go to 8B then right now? Is that okay with the board?
Good with it?
Yeah.
Okay. No discussion?
You take a motion,
Motion? Okay.
and
motion.
then a second, and then do it.
Okay. Need a motion to,
I'll make a motion to, move forward with, through all the discussion, and I make a motion to move forward the, option to open all county roads to ATV, UTV usage. With the exception of the County B section that's been, already plotted, or however that word is, the correct word for that route, that area of Highway B that
Yeah,
would remain closed to ATV, UTV usage because of the volume of traffic and
that's what was it?
Yeah, originally it was approved that all
All county
ATV
roads.
routes except for B
right.
from 1229 to 40.
So I'll make them,
Now we need a motion for the ordinance to actually be passed, right? Is what we're looking at, and the ordinance is in here, right?
Yeah, the ordinance is way in the back.
So go to 8B, that's what we're actually looking
at it last night.
at. I think it.
And it's basically like the last month. It's the same, the only thing
Well, that's
that,
all pages.
the one thing that was incorrect previously was the current ATV routes. So this is the updated list that is currently open to.
This is what's currently open.
Yes,
but-
and if you open up all the county roads, like as shown on the ATV ordinance, it would be this last page, basically.
We're basically gonna eliminate 10
Yes,
and go to.
Yep.
And supplement it with this 10 on the alternative back here.
correct.
Does that make sense to everybody?
Mhm.
Instead of having segments, we're just gonna have number 10, opening all day TV routes except for county roads from 1229 to Highway 40.
Since our last meeting, was there, do we have a second?
So are you making a motion to the ordinance?
Yes, okay, making a motion that to approve this number 10 and 11 alternative, and, I think for probably ease of, patrolling or whatever, just make it a 24-hour window.
So that'd be something you'd want to change in the current layout, is the hours of operation.
Hours of operation?
Yeah.
Okay. That is 4G. Correct. Yep. And the motion was to just make it
Yeah,
24/7?
I mean, the 60 minutes before and after, and I mean, I get, yeah,
So your motion is for 24/7?
24/7.
And Jared, a second, okay. Motion's been made in second, now we can discuss it. Discussion.
Did you hear anything from the sheriff's department? From the last, I thought you kind of tabled it because of that.
So the sheriff, I reached out, or the sheriff's department reached out to me yesterday. They had just two comments, in the ordinance. They suggested they change the hours of operation. Not have the sunrise and sunset. It changes every day and it gets a lot more confusing. They just suggested going from what the towns are currently approved for, I believe it's 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. or 24/7. They didn't have any, I guess they didn't have any recommendations. They said either way would be fine with them. Another thing that they did suggest is the possibility of using hand signals during daylight operations instead of turn signals, which statutorily currently you can do on an ATV, is use hand signals. So that'd be another thing that they kind of suggested that we maybe have as an option in the actual ordinance itself. Otherwise, that was the only comment they had. They have not seen an uptick in any type of accidents or anything like that, or any problems that they're aware of. Traditional issues that people have with cars. So.
And I did hear a comment from a neighbor. He's concerned, right? He's concerned that if he's using his UTV for exclusively ag, will he need turn signals? And
so I reached out to Corp Counsel this morning after that question, and as of right now, we can't provide it. It would have to be something we'd have to look into.
Daylight hours and hand signals are legal.
Yeah.
But that right now is not in ordinance.
Usually
It is not. Right now, it's
we'd have to
currently,
change that now.
yeah, it's currently required to have turn signals.
Right. That would ease that problem.
Well, we can make a motion to add
Can they
that.
amend?
Amendment. Yeah.
You would do an amendment?
Amendment.
And what I would suggest perhaps is that your motion would be to amend it to add language and then get corporation council to draft those for you.
Okay. Correct. I move to amend it.
To hand signal.
Oh, so, yeah.
Answer daylight hours.
During daylight
During
hours.
daylight hours. I'll second that.
Okay, motion's been second to amend the main motion to add hand signal. Any discussion?
During daylight hours.
During daylight hours.
Then what you're saying is that the same machine would be illegal at dark then, because they,
Because they can't have lights there, not can't be at night. Any other discussion? All in. Yeah, you got a second. All in favor of adding, amendment to the motion to add signals during daylight hours?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay, back to the main motion. I did talk to Polk County on their ordinance up there, and they have not had any problems per se with like smoking all their roads up there. It's been pretty quiet for the most part. I don't know. I know one of the comments is that southern counties are open. I don't get down there, so I'm not really sure how that's looking.
Justin, are you comfortable with just B? Are there other,
I would be comfortable with just restricting B. We do have approximately 4,500 cars that go down that road. That is our highest traveled road.
So what is the second highest traveled route? I know, like, you know, Highway M from 40 going north of that's a lot of traffic.
So I did provide a map that does have the ADT values on it, average daily traffic. Predominantly, the second, I think, highest is right around that, like County Road H south of Elk Mound, your C's, your E's, stuff like that.
Yeah, that's good.
I guess.
Double B from 25 to 12, that's another one, Cedar Falls, double B. Those are a lot higher than majority of rural Dunn County.
Well, it's good to me. I think for a year. Sure seems to make sense to me. I think it's overwhelmingly supported. The townships that I talk to and individuals I talk to.
Everybody, you know, I feel the same as Randy on it. You know, I think a lot of care has been put in building the package to this point by the riders and the law enforcement, this group of people now and prior, you know, looking at things carefully, making sure, you know, things are put in place for safety and considerations for other people and stuff like that. And I think it's time to move on, move forward.
Any other discussion? All right, we'll vote on the motion. Open all the roads up. The amendment on there, they had dancing. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. It will go on to executive in June. Okay.
Yeah, and
Well, it's really a review at executive, it'll go to county board action.
So this will go to full county board at the June, I don't know what date it is. Third Wednesday of June. Full county board to approve all county roads. All right? All right. That one's done.
That date would
yeah,
be
mine's all
June
current.
21.
June 21st. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. No. Great. Meeting is resumed. Staff reports on to Dustin.
It's provided in your packet as well as on TV here. The staff report will go through this. This topics on the agenda today will be highway shop operations, engineering and project updates, equipment updates, winter maintenance costs, county comparison of lane miles, asphalt and salt prices through the years, and we'll go through the highway financials. Some of the things that we're doing as a daily operation standpoint, we are track filling on the county roadways. We did start track filling State Highway 25 and 170 for the DOT, approximately 16 miles on the state system, and then we had planned about 60 miles of track filling on the county system. We continue to spray patch roadways. We're currently concentrating on some of these roads that we're putting a seal coat application on this summer. Trying to get some of those, the wheel ruts and some of the potholes filled prior to the seal coating in July. We started shoulder reclaiming, county system as well as the state. So basically that's bringing up the material of the rock on the shoulder, bringing it up to the asphalt edge. So there's not a drop off. Last week, I believe Tuesday, we started herbicide spraying of invasive plants on the county system, as well as implementing a growth inhibitor to reduce our mowing costs. So we are looking at just spraying approximately 10 feet of the shoulder, 10 to 12 feet of the shoulder point, and not going out as full road right away width that we did in the years past, just to reduce some of that cost, as well as hopefully we don't have so much residual going out into the field and stuff. So it's going well. We anticipate probably about 3 weeks worth of spraying, what it takes to do full county-wide.
How many trucks we got set up doing? Just one or two?
We have 2 trucks that run with it.
Okay.
Yeah. We have one of our big water trucks set up, and then we have like a pickup that has a 600 gallon in it. But it goes really quick, so we'll see what happens. Hopefully we don't have a summer where it plumes and grows. And the nice thing with the herbicides for the invasive is it actually does have residuals for 2 years. So that's why I kind of restricted it this year so much, as we already have the herbicide control on the plant itself.
So does it kill the grass then too?
No,
No?
yeah, it just your native grasses, it suppresses it.
But
It
doesn't
will
kill
not
it, yeah.
harm any milkweed,
Okay,
native plants, nothing like that.
yeah.
These
But I
are
was-
selective herbicides to control those invasives.
'Cause I was thinking if you're talking about residual, for a couple of years, you don't want it to be just bare there either, because otherwise you get,
Correct.
like washing and, erosion.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Hire out for townships if they want that done or not?
Yes.
We do, okay.
We will. So far the towns have kind of
On
not
their own.
gone down that path. They still go through the mowing operation sometimes.
I'm just curious.
I think we did spray for red cedar, but yeah, there was some townships that kind of do their own thing. So
I'm just curious.
Do the operators have to be licensed? Do they have to take a test for that?
they do not need to be licensed in the state of Wisconsin if we're a government entity. We took,
Some safety or some
yeah,
little?
we thought it'd be in the best, appropriate, to do that. So we do have 4 employees that are licensed
Okay,
applicators.
probably a good idea.
If it doesn't work out for them at Dunn County Highway, they can go back up. Great. So some of the shop operations that we're doing is we're removing all the snowplow equipment from our plow trucks. That includes your wings, sanders, plows, front hitches, you name it. We're taking it off the truck. Obviously, we just continue some of our routine maintenance, which is basically every day. So we always have blown hoses and tires need to be replaced, brakes, all that stuff. So do I.
Yeah.
Take that times whatever, the amount of equipment we have. So, and here's just a few pictures. So people can put a picture to what we do. So upper left hand is our rubber sealing. That's grinding the cracks and putting the rubber expanding sealant in. Upper right is the shoulder reclaiming. Mind you, these are not Dunn County pictures.
I was gonna say, I didn't think Mike had that nice of a truck when he was driving.
Yeah.
And I met, I think it was, McCormick this morning, wasn't it? Up on B, just
Yeah.
head across.
But a lot of questions we get is what is spray patching? So that's not our exact truck, but that is very, very similar to the 2 units that we have. So it applies oil and it applies pea gravel all at the same time. It's the most long-term solution that we can get to fill a pothole, instead of just throwing
How
fill
big
mix
are people in that bill? I mean,
as big as we want.
that can fill, I mean, because we got some of those, and they
Yeah,
fill all that.
You may have to put it in layers, obviously, but, yeah, it works great.
Now, you said that the concrete one, is that the same thing with a different mix, or is there a different vehicle or?
That
different-
mastic machine that I was
Yeah.
talking about, so it's a different machine, so it's a more of a trailer machine,
Okay,
totally different material. It's kind of like your rubber material mixed with the same type of oil.
so is it still black? I mean,
Yeah.
okay, that's what I was.
Yeah, and for us, it all depends on the aggregate we put down, the color of the aggregate, so there's oil and then the aggregate goes on top. Okay. So we do have a darker color aggregate. Like it's kind of mind its own. Just to give you some updates on some of our engineering and projects. So we did start our County Road B project from 1330th Avenue to Sand Creek. That is I believe just over a 2-mile stretch of road, it's like right around 2 miles. So we started that last week, Monday, or this week, Monday, I should say. So we are adding culverts, shoulder widening, ditching. We are going to be adding some curb and gutter to a small residential area that's just outside of Sand Creek, just to the west there on B. We did shut the road down. We are anticipating the road to be shut down and project completed by, we're hoping by the mid to late June. Project estimate is right around that $537,000. County Road Z project, we are working with a few landowners down there to try to utilize some borrow fill and to make some slope improvements on the roadway, which would require us to go outside the road right away to try to match in. We've had very open and willing individuals that are allowing us to do that.
So was that the same road on our tour last fall that we stopped and looked at it and worked on it then?
Yes.
Like,
Yeah, we didn't
remember-
go on it, we just crossed
Right,
it.
okay, I wanna make sure
yeah,
which road
yeah.
it was.
So basically where we parked there, we're going south.
So that's just a continuation then of it?
Yep. So that'll be split into 3 phases. Right now, this is our second phase on this project. It's approximately, I didn't have that on here, just over 3 miles, like 3.2. We're anticipating to probably start that. Isaac, our assistant commissioner, he's not here today, but he is working diligently on completing a lot of estimates for the towns and villages. It seems like when it rains, it pours with towns that they do their road ratings and stuff like that. They look at in the springtime what roads have happened through the winter, and so yeah, we got a lot of estimates to be completed here for a lot of the town and village work. We are currently reviewing a potential project that is going to correlate with our County Road B project from I-94 to 1229. So that project is anticipated was supposed to happen this year, but due to the railroad issues we've had, got delayed till next year. With that being said, the DOT is redoing their scale on I-94. So they're going to be redoing the building. They're going to be doing the whole scale, redoing that whole operation up there in 2024.
Is that the one that's east on 94 from
Yep.
B there?
Yep. Yeah, it's going westbound.
Yep.
Yeah, just west of exit
Right.
52,
Yeah,
like 29
yeah.
there.
Does that affect, like Dunn County Highway at all? As far as like equipment or any kind of work with them, or?
So there's going to be a maintenance agreement on who maintains what. They
Okay.
are putting a salt shed out there for county use. I have already told the DOT that we are not purchasing a loader. That's something the DOT is going to have to do. I mean, we're not going to supply all that. If we have to rent one, whatever, so be it. That's on their dime. So, but with that project at the scale on I-94, they want to do a pull-off site on County Road B. So they can actually pull semis over that are actually bypassing the scale. So they do have a number of trucks that are bypassing the scale, going, turning off at exit 52 and going down 1229 to bypass it.
Well, that's where those semis are going, huh?
So they want to work with us that they can incorporate this into our project. There is no cost to the county. This will be all state funded. This will be all separate contractors performing the work. They just want to have it put in our project specifications to let the contractors know that there's another contractor on site. So I'm working with the DOT right now to come up with a maintenance agreement on who pays for what, and long-term maintenance agreement on what happens when it goes to heck and starts needing repairs. The county is not going to be responsible for it. So we're working through that right now. I am supportive of it. There is no additional right-of-way or anything needed for any cost to the county.
So when
If
you
we
do
can
work
remove-
on Highway B project next year, how's the detour gonna be? Like when they do the railroad, are you gonna, will there be one lane open or the whole thing will be shut down?
So
And what's the alternative to get around it?
So currently, there's gonna be staging there's gonna be 4 stages in this whole project. So it's gonna be northbound lanes will be restricted, bi-directional traffic going southbound, so it'll be
Okay.
single lane, restrictions. When the railroad needs to redo their railroad crossing, there will be a month that County Road B will be shut down. Right now, we are working with the Union Pacific Railroad, the DOT, and the engineering firm that was designing this. We are looking at probably May 1st to June 1st being shut down. I've worked with Red Cedar about possibly utilizing 650th Avenue as a detour, which is just north of Packer Drive. It's kind of where the old church is there.
Yep.
Using that to cut over to E to Rusk, and then back down to 1229. We do have some potential concerns with individuals that are coming utilizing Stokey Parkway, taking Badger Drive to get to the intersection. I spoke to the city of Menominee. They're not opposed to having some signage on Wagner Street, I believe it is, which goes into their industrial park. To just let people know that B North is shut down. So they can get to the intersection and have to turn around. So yeah, we're working through that. We are still dealing with the railroad. Amazing how much power and control they have in this whole situation. They dictate what we do. We're at their mercy. They tell us to jump, we say how high, basically. So I am working with the DOT to try to come up with updated cost. So obviously, we're starting the 2024 budget. I need to get some costs here, and then also the engineering firm that provide me an updated cost based on 2023 numbers that you're seeing on the DOT level. So I expect everything to go up, nothing goes down, so we've got to plan accordingly.
So how much do you think it's gonna cost us more by just that 1 year delay, that whole project
If I had to guess, I would say probably 10%.
more?
And actually, some of the engineering, the design engineer, they say some unit pricing is actually going down.
Oh.
So concrete went up a lot. Unfortunately, that's everything out there is in concrete. So, but some things like whatever, if they got base or whatever borrowed. This is just a map of our V project, our limits, what we're doing there. And this is just a map of that SWEP project at full off site. Right now, it's currently planned just south of Quick Trip, going northbound.
On the B project, do you have any questions or concerns about a lot of the trees that were cut there on the south side of St. Paul and that little?
We spoke to the landowners. Obviously, they were all within the road right away.
Sure.
Unfortunately, to accommodate this project with shouldering and ditching, we had to take a lot of them. We did accommodate some of those big pines that are just west of the Sand Creek there. I know those are very, very old trees that have sentimental value, so we did leave some of them. But yeah, the majority of them didn't have an issue.
I just wonder.
Yeah, the biggest thing that we have is dealing with drainage up there, where those residential houses are.
Yeah.
Flat as a pancake
It
out
is.
there, and
Mhm.
so, yeah, we're working through that. Any questions with the projects or anything like that before we move on?
I don't know about projects, but just curious of what's gonna happen anyway. Like on County Road Double B for 1225, what are our plans there? Cause that is just horrid.
I was gonna, once I get to the whole
Or you
budget,
discuss that
I
later.
was gonna mention something. So we are currently reviewing some roads, like I said previously, when I think two meetings ago. We had a few roads that didn't make it very well through the spring, in the winter. In particular, Double B from 12 to 25. I actually went out there this week and it's landmines everywhere.
I mean, it is,
It is in our 5-year plan.
yeah.
Unfortunately, I think it was planned for 2026. I don't see that road lasting through this year, unfortunately.
No, I don't either.
I did put more money into our maintenance budget, so I'm looking at that is if there's some money to spend on some of these roads and what it's gonna cost. So Isaac and I will come through and get through, estimated costs. We're looking at drainage, we're looking at some of these roads currently.
Kind of curious on that one, because that one is gets
Well, and
destroyed in the
it's getting really destroyed now with 12 being shut down,
Right,
and that's what people are using as a
detour, exactly.
you know, Rudiger Road, Heller Road.
Down by
Same boat.
Fleet Farm there, you talking? I don't know, I haven't traveled it lately because I got there and it was like closed, and so I went back and took the route you're talking about. You're on the top there, and
Or
Yeah.
you were supposed to take the actual detour, which takes you all the way to, I think,
I
Baldwin.
needed to get to, I needed to get
Baldwin,
to
is that right? It's far.
It's a long.
I needed to get to that end of town, so that's where I was headed. Road's there, I'm gonna use it, right, so.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but I agree,
Yeah, that, like I said, there's a number of roads, like 8 south of Rock Falls, if you've driven on that, it's to the point where it's gravel. I mean, that road is,
I say, it's just falling apart. And I just noticed Tony Road F two for 64 North, the Sheridan Town Hall. I mean, that thing is really falling apart.
and that's a newer road.
And that's a 10-year-old road.
Years old, I think.
That has to be old.
It seems like all the farming equipment, everything's getting bigger and bigger, and the road just can't handle that, you know. The one time they were telling me how much more damage like one semi can do compared to just a regular car, it's just unbelievable, the difference.
go back to farming the way my grandpa did, John Deere B in a
And-
hay wagon. Maybe with.
It's the time of year, too.
Well,
You know, when they get going in the spring, you know,
everything is go, 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 but
Boy.
that's when the roads are at the weakest.
But yeah, you're seeing a lot more dairy farms that are big dairy farms, where it's a lot more manure hauling, milk trucks.
They've gotten bigger. The other question I just had, Highway 64. I mean, how is our maintenance agreement on that? Because, I mean, we've patched up living out of that thing this last few weeks. And it's still bad. How's the maintenance agreement work with that? I mean,
So we have a maintenance agreement through the DOT, and mind you, this maintenance agreement hasn't changed in forever.
Right.
It's that dollar amount, and unfortunately, what has happened is our winter maintenance costs have gone up, especially this year. So what the state's doing is they have actually kind of limited on what we should be doing out on roadways right now for them. They want to restrict our hours of operations out there. They want to basically just have emergency situations only. So we're concentrating on that type of road, and that's it. Long-term planning, they are aware of it. Unfortunately, that wasn't even in their 9-year plan to redo that.
I mean, that area
before.
it is really falling apart. I mean, you guys patched the heck out of it last week, whatever, but how did we recoup all those expenses?
Yes, so it's all basically time and materials. Whatever we charge,
Okay,
we recoup
okay.
from the state.
where are you talking now? 25 to,
The worst is
To
from
the
Hole
west?
to the.
Yeah, to Connorsville area, Connorsville even up to the other area, got the Yeah, if you go a little bit farther.
They have it planned, I believe it's in 2025 to redo from O to W, I think it is,
Oh.
64.
So I'm just looking at these roads, I mean, I can't imagine being a motorcycle or anything else out there because these holes are long, they're deep. I mean, if somebody would hit those at night, I can't imagine.
That's why,
And how you can't swerve to miss them, because I mean, they're everywhere.
and that's why, like I said before, our spray patching unit trucks, we have two of those play a vital role in our operations, our daily operations. I've expressed to our patrol superintendent that I want those trucks running every day, as much as possible. And unfortunately, I mean, we probably have enough use for our two trucks just on the county system.
Right.
Now we bring the state, and then now a lot of the towns are requesting it to be.
On a cycle. If I was on a cycle, I can't imagine how you dodge all this stuff and stay upright.
Like you say, at night.
Yeah, that's what I mean, at night, but you can't, I don't know, maybe you got really good lights on cycles, I don't know. I just can't imagine.
The unfortunate thing is I got a feeling it's going to get worse based on the funding.
So what's the policy of Dunn County? Cause I've heard on TV, like up in the cities, if you hit a pothole and does major damage to your vehicle, you can get reimbursed from the city. Anything on that? I didn't think it was, but.
I mean, there's a lot of things, obviously, statutorily, we have to maintain our roads, and if it's a emergency or a known issue, we have to fill that pothole. We can't just ignore it, say, free will, your suspension goes. I mean, that's not our intent. I mean, we can't be everywhere at all times. I mean.
And then how do you prove it? Well, it was on the county road, not a town road, in your own driveway.
I've seen where you patched it 1 week and by the next week it's gone.
Yeah. What do you do?
It's worse, and it's like, you just patched it, other places have broke out and just gone to heck. I mean, the patch is still there, but then the next one.
Once one pothole forms, two more will follow.
Yeah, it's like they grow.
One guy, I don't know what city it was in, but he planted a tree in a pothole. He couldn't get the city to take care of it. Well, so the city council sent out the worker to pull the tree out, so just planted another one the next day. Well, then they finally fixed the pothole.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what I'll do, is plant some trees.
Anyway, my question basically went back to, I mean, the state will reimburse us, doesn't matter what we spend on those.
Yeah, and if the budget goes over the RMA dollars that are allocated for Dunn County, they pay us for it.
Okay, because I know you had to spend some time up on that.
Yeah, and obviously we try to stay within the budget, so they tell us what to do.
Okay, just curious on that.
Some of the equipment, we do have an auction going on right now. From last month's meeting, they had a list of pieces of equipment, trucks, air compressors, our chip spreader, all that stuff, guardrail. So that's currently on the Wisconsin surplus, which ends next week, Tuesday, 16th. So we're hopeful we'll clean out some of our back room area, as well as trying to recoup some of the costs for some of the equipment that's currently not being utilized. We did have our main shop loader, which is our number 16 loader, which was purchased back in 2017. That is our main Menominee shop loader. We have some pretty significant repairs that need to be done on it. DPF filter, our quick connect plate and bushings, and our center pivot pin needs replacing. So basically, it's the meat and potatoes of the machine. We have well over 10,000 hours on this machine. The estimated cost of $15,000 is probably light. Dan actually informed me yesterday that what he got for repairs was actually the wrong pricing for the parts, I guess. So just that quick connect plate and bushings, I guess, is $6,000. And where that center pivot, we're anticipating probably 8,000 plus. So I've asked Dan to look into the possibility, since this is our main shop loader, if there's something we can do, kind of like our skid steer program where we're trading these out every year. Or if we're gonna have to do a lease program or something. We get way too many hours on our main shop loader that runs every day.
1,500 hours a year. Jeez.
And I hate to say it, but a lot of those are probably idle hours in the winter time when
Well-
sitting outside in the winter in the salt shed.
Yeah, we could.
But we gotta look at something. We do have that backup loader, that we got from Waste Management. So we do have another unit, that we are currently running, while this Komatsu sits in our shop. Some of the stuff we're actually gonna take over to, the Komatsu dealer to get it fixed. We just don't have the time and the manpower to tear the machine apart and disconnect it and all that stuff.
Where's that deal?
I believe that's Roland.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we are looking at other options, like I said, and maybe we just get rid of this machine at once it's out of its useful life and we concentrate on maybe that other machine that we have in solid waste. We did send out requests for proposals for 4 new tandem axle plow trucks for 2024. We are looking at proposals due May 25th. In our 5-year budget, what I had in here is 3 tandem axle plow trucks, not 4. That does not say we have to go with 4 plow trucks. My concern, what we're seeing here is potentially could be 2 years out before we get some of these trucks. We do have 4 trucks that we are receiving this year, that were scheduled to be here in April. 2 of them are going to be here in July and 2 are going to be in October. So that's what they're telling us. That's not guaranteed. So we're looking at at least 2 of these trucks this year may not even be up and running for this winter. We might have to do a budget transfer into next year just to pay for some of these trucks that were supposed to be this year. So we are looking at just putting a bid in our proposals for 4 tandem axles. Like I said, they're not paid for until we receive them. We are looking at not necessarily taking 4, but we do have 3 planned in our budget.
So when you do that, is the price set then, or is the price set when you receive them?
The price
If
is
you
set
order 'em?
when we get the proposal. So if we receive our proposal on May 25th, that's the set price for next year. We're not anticipating, Dan and I were kind of anticipating a very large increase, but what it sounds like, it's going to be kind of status quo from what we have pricing for this year. Maybe slightly higher, but we'll see when May 25th rolls out. Problem we do have is just like our pickup truck proposal that I had from previous. They're taking orders. They don't have the pricing. From what I was told, they're waiting on pricing from Cummins and
Yeah.
for like the Cummins Detroit, whatever the transmission companies
Oh,
are. They're waiting
Allison?
for Allison. That's what they're waiting for. Whatever runs the machine, that's what they're waiting for. Apparently those 2 are the only ones that make it for large trucks. So, more information to come, like I said, at our next meeting here. But yeah, I just wanted to reiterate, these do not come out of this year's budget. We're putting out proposals for this year. This would be for next year's budget. So we did have our annual quad axle payment. So this is our capital lease through International. So we do have 5 quad axles that started back in 2020. Each year we pay $100,000 for each one of those units. So the capital lease basically ends in 2025. We have the option to either keep the trucks, turn them back in,
get 5 new trucks, keep doing the same type of lease, whatever we want to do, or sell them outright. So the last year's payment is a balloon payment. I believe it's 152,000 instead of 100,000. So that's something we have to look at as well. So, last but not least, on the equipment, facilities came to me asking about this possibility. They were looking at purchasing a snow blower attachment for their tractor. We actually have one that was purchased, I believe, 3 years ago, 3 years ago. We don't utilize it much. Obviously, we have plow trucks. We do use it. I believe back in 2019, we did have abundance of snow. We were trying to push banks back, and that came in handy. We have not used it for last year or the year before that. So I guess I don't have an issue with it. I've mentioned this to Scott from facilities that they would be able to utilize it. They would house it at their facility. And if we needed it in an emergency situation or whatever, we'd come and get it. I did mention to Scott, we'll have to work out some agreements for what type of maintenance, if something needs to be done on it, blowing hose, or who's eating that cost, of the facilities department or the highway department. So that's something we'll have to look at as a work in progress. But I didn't feel it was necessary if county already has a unit, so why purchase another one? So put it to use. Usually if they sit in the backyard and don't do anything. So we will work with Scott and facilities on that. Any questions regarding any of the equipment stuff? And I didn't put in there either, but we're in dire need of pickup trucks, and right now I'm putting it on hold until June here is one that we'll have numbers on ordering trucks. So I at a standstill right now.
Mine's always for sale.
Right price. You can donate it.
I don't have this guy's money.
You don't have his bills either.
So next item here, just the winter maintenance cost. So Supervisor Steen kind of asked me if I could put together like the past 5 years, what type of maintenance costs the county has allocated for the winter maintenance the past few years. As you can see, we had some average years. I would say right around that. Our average is usually that 1.3 to 1.4, I would say, is what our usual annual operating expenses are for winter maintenance. So in 18 it was average, 19 was above average, and in 2020 and 2021 we had below average. You can obviously see the snow amount totals were greatly reduced. 2022 preliminary numbers that I have received is we spent 1.4 in 2022. Mind you, this is from January to December, not like the fall of 2022 this year. We don't go by that. We go by full year. So not the seasonal winter, but the
Is that,
the calendar year.
can I ask, is that because of budget reasons, or because to me it would make more sense to go seasonal season? Just so you get more accurate numbers. You know what I mean? And it's it should be less work to calculate it. If you went from October 15th to May 1st, something like that. You know what I mean? Or maybe it wouldn't be.
Yeah, I mean,
know.
we have to follow the county's budget.
Right,
so, I mean,
right.
It's
That's why I was asking if it
fiscal,
was a fiscal situation or whatever. Yeah. Just
and I mean,
curious.
it pretty much averages it out. I mean, I would say if you have a severe fall, usually it's kind of the same for the next year possibly, but the big one thing I kind of want to concentrate on is obviously in 2023, these are preliminary numbers that we have so far, but we've spent pretty much 80% of our budget. If we
look at all labor, equipment and materials utilization. We still have purchase salt, for this year in 2023 for making salt sand as well as utilizing it here in the fall. So I'm anticipating approximately $200,000 just on purchasing salt for this year. Yeah, we are going to look at that and address it. And like I said, these are preliminary numbers right now. I don't have it. This is what I've taken numbers out of our chems reports, which is different from our SAP report. So I just want to bring that to your attention. It's not looking good so far for 2023, but
So your total up there for 2023, that 1,600,000, is that counting like November, December, or that just,
no. So
Is that
that's
a
basically
guesstimate?
January 1st of this year.
okay, so
Starting
we haven't
January
even added
1st.
on.
We
Two
still have to
months.
go through October, November, and December
Okay.
of this
Yeah,
year.
I wasn't sure if
Plus
you took it like
salt.
an average.
Plus our salt purchase.
Yeah, that's not included in 200,000 already,
Yeah.
probably already added on to that.
So our $200,000 salt purchase we had in 2022, you will see that in the 2022 numbers of that one.
So we're really at 1.2 already. If you include that. Just
Well,
minimum.
I'm working with finance on this. I did have some questions on how, our material costs, in particular with salt sand. These numbers in chems show our salt sand costs. So we make salt sand, we put it on the roadway. In our SAP budget numbers, salt sand's not in there. It's just our labor costs. So that's where I'm working with finances. I want to all be on the same page. I want SAP and chems numbers to respond to each other. And that's what's being difficult right now is our material costs are not in SAP. If we buy salt, it's in SAP and it's in chem, but not necessarily the materials that we make. So we are making it ourselves, having our own equipment. There should be a cost in SAP for that. And right now it is not. So
Do we make any money when we sell them to the townships? Because there's a lot of townships who do make some money, or at least hundreds of
we
thousands.
Just red cedar.
no, I mean we're not making millions of dollars on the towns.
But
I
we're
mean,
not going in the hole either.
we charge the towns accordingly for our costs that we have associated.
Okay.
Even our administrative costs, we add some of that in there, so I can pay my wages and everybody else's wages. But, all the paperwork shuffling and all that stuff. So yeah, we do have money that we get from the town for the material. So yeah, I just wanted to present that. I know, I believe it's gonna be at the exec today or not, I don't. That's on there, so. That winter maintenance.
Oh, yeah.
I know, like Supervisor Steen kind of requested that.
Yeah.
Presented to the board, but, I just wanted to present this. It's kind of an eye-opening experience for me. So I put together our county lane miles. So these are center line miles compared to all counties in the state of Wisconsin. So there's 72 counties. Dunn County ranks number 7 with the most center line miles in the state of Wisconsin. So we are number 7 out of 72. You'd sure think like Milwaukee County, all this stuff, they'd have more county roads than us, but they don't. They actually have less. The one thing I did want to put in there too is I put the population in there. As you can see, Dunn County has the least amount of population with the most roads maintained. So as you can see, I mean, Eau Claire has roughly the same, but they have 3 times the amount, or twice the amount of population tax base.
Right.
So I just,
when we get like a shared revenue from the state, do they take that into consideration, that our population as compared to the total miles?
I don't know how that process works. That's something I want to look into. I know at this last meeting that I had in Pierce County, they're looking at, it's basically, it's dependent upon land value, like your
is what I was told, how that gets distributed. So I'd have to look at that in more detail on how that's distributed.
Yeah, population with that many miles.
That's a big burden on
Yeah,
on the county's, budget.
Well, that, we don't have the equalized value compared to fire or Chippewa. Our equalizers, nothing.
So, and I know obviously I don't want to go down this path, but the same budget we've had at highway for the last 20 years, I mean, isn't realistic. I mean, it's gonna get to a point where we may have to borrow every year just to stay afloat at the highway department, if that's the case, based on our revenue. Maybe the state's gonna have to chip in, and we're gonna have to do something. I found this to be an eye-opening experience for me. I just wanted to put this together and show you guys what hurdles we're gonna have to try to overcome and get through, to try to even maintain our system.
That might be a good thing to put on the, legislative agenda for what, to make more equalized, like fair. If we do that. Did the county have that many, or the highway have that many legislative on the agenda? Do we have, I can't remember.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, highway has like with the increased gas taxes and stuff, with
Okay.
electric vehicles, putting more money into the program. Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, another thing is asphalt and salt prices through the years. Asphalt prices have increased 173% over the past 20 years. Just over the last 10 years, we've increased 21%. So back in 2001, we had 21.13 a ton, and now we're at $58 a ton roughly this year in 2023. That's not as bad as the salt. And actually, I just received the salt price for this year. Just this year alone has increased 9% from 2022 to 2023. We're at $96 a ton in 2023, which I do not have on there. I just actually received that yesterday. So, as you can see, we're trying to do everything in our power to try to limit the salt usage. So obviously salt brines are the big push. The unfortunate thing is we have the brine maker to make the brine. We just don't have the tanks to apply it. That's an added cost to us. So that's why I'm trying to push that we try to get these wedge tanks, we get these brine tanks that we can accommodate putting brine down, not just our tailgate tanks where we put 150 gallons of brine down. It does nothing. So that's what we're shooting for, is if we can reduce our salt usage and maybe use other practical means like our brines to help reduce this cost overall to our budget. I would love to post that out in the World Wide Web that this is what it costs per ton to maintain our roads. And on average, we go through just say 10,000 tons a year of salt on the state and county system, and
What's the
that's how much we
reason
spend,
that it went up like 3 times in 2 years, basically? I mean, there's gotta be a reason.
because they can. We need it, and they know we need it.
And there's only a couple.
Trucking costs have increased. That's one big thing is the transported from down south here on barges. Everything's gone up in price. If labor costs go up 10%, they put 10% to the consumer. So
So because we get so many comments about roads, I mean, as a general rule, social media, ask us to do a graphic for you and put it out there.
But I don't think they would complain about less salt, because that's not really an environmentally friendly. The more salt you use isn't that great for the environment. You know, you get the roads all.
I can tell you that a lot of people speak on both sides of their mouth. They want better
Bare roads.
They want no salt on their cars and all this, and they want better roads, but we're damned if we do and damned if we don't. That's my motto, is what I've
See, there's a lot of comments out there. Why we can't stop.
Yeah, why are we even out on the road plowing? You should keep it, whatever, 6 inches on the road packed on. I can drive on it, next person I want it bare.
Right?
And I know Wisconsin always tries to compare us to other states. They keep track of all of the use of salt and material per lane mile cost. Dunn County is the highest in the state. We utilize the most salt per lane mile in the state of Wisconsin.
On the county roads or over,
This is on the state system.
on the state system? Only?
Yes.
Okay.
So us and St. Croix are usually the top users of salt in the state of Wisconsin based on our number of miles of road. That's not to say Milwaukee and Dane County and all that doesn't use salt, but what we've been seeing seasonally is, in particular this last winter, we had all the snow and all the precipitation from here north. Dane County, I think a lot of times they could have been golfing all winter.
We have
So
more
it's
freezing
not-
rain too up here.
Yeah. And having 5-10 degree difference makes a huge difference. I mean, we could have 20 degrees here and they could be 30 in Milwaukee.
But I've noticed a lot too, from here as compared to Osseo. A lot of times there's a major difference as how much snow, and that's not that far away.
Correct.
But it seems like you said, like a short distance make a really big difference.
Where are all the major accidents that way?
That's true too. We get down there.
And I mean, there's different ways of looking at it. If we use less salt, we're gonna have more accidents, create more repairs to the roadways, your guardrails, your cable rails. So it probably offsets that cost of using the salt.
Yeah.
There is labor, equipment costs, everything involved with it. A lot of those repairs though, we try to recoup from the insurance company. If somebody hits guardrail or hits a bridge or hits something, we go after the insurance company. Obviously, insurance rates go up. So it's like,
who hit.
yeah, a lot of times they're hitting something, so. But I just wanted to present that to you as well. So here's just a breakdown. And obviously I don't have 2023 for the salt. That is 96.46 per ton. I just didn't have that in there. Yeah. We gotta try to just do something different. And if that means heated roads or we don't plow roads, I don't know. If Dunn County could get rid of half the roads we have, I would be a lot better,
Maybe
but
on
we
that-
can't.
Maybe on that, PD project from the railroad tracks down here, that 1225, we should put underwater heat in that cement you're gonna put
Geothermal?
down. Yeah.
Not a huge upfront cost, so I don't even know what that would be. We wanna go down that road. Going to our highway financials, I just wanna reiterate that we are showing a pretty significant budget surplus, based on our projections in that right-hand corner there. So that's why I'm looking at, trying to reduce that with some of our roads that we have a need. I mean, we have to either throw some overlays on or we gotta do something. We can't just let them go. We're actually spending more money to maintain it than if we would just pulverize the pavement.
That's what you kind of.
That's what I was wondering, you guys were having your conversation about these roads, and I've been on a couple of them myself, and it's like, are we saving money by, patching them
Putting the band-aid on it, yep.
constantly, or are we just better off to go put it over the top of it and say, okay, in 10 years, we're gonna be back where we are again, or grind it up and
A
go?
prime example is our County Road B project, from basically Quick Trip South to 1229. We were spending $50,000 to $75,000 a year on maintaining that road. I believe it was 4 years ago, we took the initiative and said, we're gonna mill 1.5 inches and relay that 1.5 inches. We haven't touched it since.
That sounds really good, to be honest.
And
with
we
you.
actually spent less money doing that than it was to actually go out there every year and maintaining that road.
Yeah.
Crack filling, that spray patching, and pothole patching. So situations like that is what we need to be looking at.
So just, again, I'm just curious, because I'm trying to learn and help make good decisions, but, so the B up here, 12 over to 25, okay? To me, it feels like part of the issue is that it's just been there so long, it's almost like there's nothing left. It's pushed down into the ground.
Yeah. I
So would
mean,
that be an overlay maybe fix or no, or,
I
I don't wanna put you on the spot to make a decision, but
and,
not
and
asking you to make a decision.
I guess-
Just curious to learn.
for those of you that attended that tour that we had, looking at the county system, I want to steer away from overlays. My personal belief on that is it's an 8-year Band-Aid.
Yeah.
So we're just pushing it down the road that
Yeah.
8 years.
No, I know,
And we have a lot of overlay roads that are starting to fail. And once an overlay starts failing, we even got it worse than what was previous. Now you got bigger, deeper potholes.
Yeah.
From the layers coming up from even below it.
Yeah.
So,
So when you put an overlay on, you come back in the future to grind it, that's almost like another base course on it. But how deep can you, like grind on if you go in there, like you grind it? Do you go down like
so
do both layers or not?
yeah, so typically they can go a foot is usually
Well, they
your
can, huh?
average. Yeah. They're not gonna wanna go through a foot of asphalt.
No,
I mean, but we don't have roads that have a foot of asphalt. I mean, 6 inches is probably the most that we have on, I know on County Road B, north of the railroad tracks, there's 5 to 6 inches of asphalt there. So,
but that'll be a grind project, plus you come in and put another 3 inches on or whatever.
correct.
Okay.
Yep.
So you shouldn't have
Yep.
to bring in a lot of, like base course, should you? You've
No.
already got,
So, like, take for instance, Double B, we're looking at just grinding the mistake. We would replace some of the structures if need be, drainage structures, and it's not a whole lot of drainage on that road. We would just grind it and relay it. That's what we're looking at. Like I said, Isaac and I are running through some numbers on what it's gonna cost. We're looking at other roads on what it's gonna cost and then see what we can do. They are in our 5-year plan. They didn't necessarily looked at as being done this particular year, but I put in our budget to have extra money for maintenance costs, so we definitely have to look at it.
Some of your overage, some of your underage here, your surplus here will be deferred to next year for the project, right? Or did you factor that?
That was my understanding, but Viata actually has that factored into the surplus.
Oh, okay, so it's elsewhere.
Yeah, we had allocated, what we were shooting for was 2.7 million to be into next year for our project. With the rising costs and what's gonna be, I'm anticipating that's gonna be over 3 million. Is what we're gonna need to carry into, so that's my goal, is to at least try to carry 3 million into it, if not more. And like I said, I'm trying to get numbers from the design engineers and the DOT on, in our 2024 budget, what number we should be looking for. So hopefully I should have those by the end of the month here. This is just a breakdown of expenses. I do want to highlight, obviously, what I told you before with our county winter maintenance. As you can see, what's actual is only $133,000. So I know Sarah's here, but we are looking into that. The difference between SAP versus CHEMS. Our CHEMS report is everything that comes off of the time card. So all of our employees write on a time card what piece of equipment, what labor, what they did, all material. That's what is generated in CHEMS report.
I was gonna ask, I never heard that term before, CHEMS. I was gonna ask you, what
Yeah,
was that?
it's a DOT software program that the DOT put together, that we utilize, free of charge, no cost to the county. But I know we did look at, there was some different allocations of labor that weren't coded correctly to the county maintenance. Obviously, since the county owns the equipment, we don't charge it in SAP. So that's another difference. SAP versus CHEMS. CHEMS shows all the equipment costs. So I just want you to be aware that we are working through this, and I want to be able to compare apples to apples. And here's our revenue source. It comes out to what we're projecting as our surplus going into 2023. So.
That is all I have for my report at this time.
Great, thanks, Dustin. All right, number 7, consideration to action taken opportunity and approval of vouchers.
Anybody have any questions on the voucher? That I may or may not be able.
Got one here, not a big deal, but builders first source incorporated. Have any idea what that is? It's not a big dollar amount, but never heard of it before. It's probably in there every month, I don't know.
It used to be
So that's up by.
ProBuild, used to be
There.
ProBuild.
Yeah, so that was some purchases, so we had.
That's fine.
Some window seals and weather stripping that we had to replace and out here.
I just never heard of it. Okay.
Thought that's what it was, but I was like,
I don't think a ProBuild.
I'm gonna stay out of that conversation for a second.
Anything else?
Motion to accept the vouchers.
Second. There made a second, any discussion? Not, all in favor, aye?
All right.
Passes. Order sale proposal?
Yeah, so. We had budgeted in 2024, a loader scale for that, loader that we got from solid waste. We currently, like I said, we don't utilize it like we should, due to not having a loader scale in it. So our shop loader, basically, we need to have a scale, all of our scales. We have scales on all of our loaders. That's the only way we can weigh our materials that are going into these trucks. We don't have a drive on, drive off scale, each outline shop. With our Komatsu loader going down, I wanna be able to push this scale up to this year. They actually have this unit on hand. If you look at Roland Equipment was our low bid proposal. I believe in 2024 we had allocated, I think $20,000 is what we were thinking it was going to be. But that's something, like I said, in 2024 budget, there hasn't even been approved or gone down that road yet. But we did have this in our capital improvement equipment budget request, which is still going to county board yet. But like I said, I'd like to take and move this into this year's budget to purchase that scale for that loader. And Roland. Yes. Yes, that honestly, the loader that came from solid waste is a cat loader. Our crew loves that the best. Really. They honestly think that's the smoothest machine. I don't want to talk ill about any other brand, but it's the Cadillac.
So the, like the Rollins is the, cheapest one, but would it be better to go with cat, because it is a cat machine, to go with a cat loader, not necessarily?
So it's not necessarily a cat or a Komatsu or a loader scale.
Or scale, okay.
It's like an aftermarket
Oh,
scale
okay.
that you can put in any unit.
Oh.
So it'd be the same unit that we have in all of our loaders.
Which one? The same unit?
Yeah, every one of these that quoted it is the same unit.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
Well,
So
then
maybe-
I'll make a motion that we go with Rollins for the scale.
Second. Motion made, second, go with Roland. Discussion otherwise? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Good.
So this was another thing that got brought to my attention. So we have one trailer currently that we utilize for all of our culverts. So when we're going to a job site, when we're loading stuff up, we have one trailer that does that. we've come into an issue where if that trailer is out on a job site, we don't have a backup. We actually have to have a trailer for all of our barrels, for our traffic control for our interstate. So on a number of occasions, we were left with nothing. And we had to go to the job site, grab the trailer, bring it back, and it's a lot of jockeying around. What we're looking at trying to do is try to get the exact same trailer that we have for our pipe trailer. Our pipe trailer is, I would say 2012, not early, 10 to 12. That's the year of our current pipe trailer. It works great. I mean, it's obviously it's got some seasonal wear, but it's a needed piece of equipment right now, just so we can not have to jockey everything around, plan it up accordingly. We do have the barrels on it. We would take it out on the interstate as needed, utilize it whenever we need for other things as well. So we did put proposals out. 3 individuals did send back. This would be basically a 10,000-pound trailer, tandem axle trailer. If you look at Johnson Trailer, who came in low bid, it's actually a little bit more superior trailer when it comes to the frame.
Yeah,
at a lower cost. So like I said, this was in our 5-year plan. It just was not in our plan this year to purchase. We do have extra money with our trade-in values of our 4 trucks, plow trucks that we are looking at. There's approximately $180,000 of additional revenue that we have for this purchase. So not a big purchase. Obviously, it's $7,000, but it still costs money.
My only concern is 8 weeks. You don't
Yeah,
have one sitting on the lot right now that we just hook on to.
The problem is they're all
I can run up
one
there
of the
this
same.
afternoon. I know, they're all 8 weeks, but I get it, but.
Weird. Well, things have changed.
I'll make a motion that we approve the purchase of a trailer from Johnson Trailer as proposed.
Dave, second by Joe. Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
All right.
Any opposed? Winter blades.
So at our last meeting, Dan put together our annual use of plow blades, and we're basically running very, very low. And we anticipate that. Obviously, every year we try to plan accordingly, but some winters we use more, some years we use less. So we're looking at reestablishing our plow blade inventory. Either way, we got to do it. It's either we do it now or we do it in the fall. Might be better off to do it now just so we can get them here. Even they don't go bad. We can sit them in the back shop.
First thing that popped in my mind, I wonder how many weeks this is.
And as of right now, it could be same boat. Maybe 8 weeks. Could be.
You have it 8 weeks.
We might be in the fall.
To the first snow. Who knows though nowadays?
So let me ask one question about the blades. I know I get chisel points for the chisel plow. If I go to Fleet Farm, they're a lot cheaper, but they don't last. Is there some kind of a standard that you're?
Yeah. So the spec we haven't had. This doesn't show the spec.
Okay, but
But yeah, this
it
just shows
does,
the
huh?
pricing. Yeah, we have a spec that we require.
okay.
Um,
That's good
these
then.
4 particular blade companies have met our spec.
Okay.
And I've asked Dan, have we purchased through all of these? And he said, yes, we purchased blades through every one of these manufacturers. Is there a difference? I can't say yes or no that one's better than the other.
Sure, it probably depends on where it was built, which factory built it.
Yeah,
Quality metal.
I'm sure it comes from the same factory. They just put their,
Yeah.
but yeah, Roland, as you can see, Roland did have an error in their, one of their unit pricing of the top, at 714.03. Tell it's considerably different from that shub underbody.
Oh.
So that's what they presented.
change it at that point in time, but, that's what they presented. Even if you reduced it, whatever, $300 or $400, it still won't be that bad.
I was gonna say that.
Yeah.
I move we go with the, first truck to the police.
I'll second that.
Motion made second. Any other discussion? Not, all in favor?
Alright, but just a comment, it really doesn't make sense to put out bids, doesn't it? You know, I mean, like you save $14,000 from the high to low by probably for the same equipment.
That's why Dunn County has an ordinance that we have to.
Oh, okay.
Best interest of the taxpayers. That's what we do.
Motion.
Yeah.
Brush mower proposal.
So at our previous meetings, I talked about our brush mower that we have for our backhoe. It was a 25-year-old unit, that we had to stick approximately $15,000 into it to keep it running. Obviously you can see if we were to buy it new, we'd only have approximately 17,000 into it, if we buy one brand new. So it doesn't make sense to try to repair what we have. The unfortunate thing is this style mower is very, very difficult to find. So we have a unit that is identical to this unit, it's just a different name brand. So it's a mower style that has 4 blades, and it's got I showed a picture of it. So when it's not moving, those blades actually go in between the 2 metal pieces there. This is almost, like I said, identical to the unit we have currently that has lasted us 25 years. This is geared more towards your mowing, your small brush. It's not intended to take down a tree with it like people want to do. Yeah, you can probably take down a 6-inch tree with it, but that's not what it's really intended for.
Not intended what the use is, but is that what you need it for?
No, so basically, what I call our tornado brush that we do, where we go and we kind of just limb the stuff off with it and take the little stuff off, get all your underbrush, all that stuff, where it's manageable, not where we're cutting a forest down with it. That's what this unit would be used for. It's very, very difficult to find a unit like this. So Dan actually did find a unit in Minnesota.
It's on hand then, it's available?
Yep, he actually went and looked at it. They could have it here by July, what they say.
8 weeks.
But I think what they do is they make some of these beforehand, or it's kind of like a special order type of thing. So yeah, Dan went and actually viewed it. They put it to use in front of him, and he said it's a nice unit. Heck of a lot reasonably priced. We have been looking at other units, more of a flail style mower, and those are geared towards you can take a tree down with them. It comes with a drum and teeth on it. My concern with that is it's like they throw safety out of the equation. It just blows the
Aggressive.
stuff. Oh, really?
Saying flail style and mower
Yeah.
in the same.
Yeah,
sounds
yeah.
dangerous.
And that's another thing we don't need is employees getting hurt, throwing brush into people's car windows and all this stuff. We don't need it. Those type of units are $40,000. So we don't need something like that to take down trees. We have chainsaws, we have tractors, we have stuff that.
This is more for like.
If we can just keep up with the maintenance like we should, we won't have to worry.
Yeah, because
about
once you get the
taking
big
down
ones down, then it's
Get the
not, if
scrub
you
brush
come back
cleaned
every 3-4 years, then it's not that big of stuff to take care of, but.
I have to dig around. My grandpa, I think, had an old sickle mower I could clean hook you up with. A little walk behind you.
Because there's not a big difference in the price of a new one as what it would cost to fix the old one, I'll make a motion.
The
that we-
one thing I want to just mention too, though, is this quote, we would not be looking at putting that chain curtain insert on. So that's a $1,500 option. Our current unit does not have that.
And you don't see a problem?
What Dan was telling me is we have had issues with those curtains where it starts to jam the stuff up in it.
Oh,
So it
okay.
won't like release it. So that's the problem we had with it. It's not required, we just,
I
like
thought
I
it'd be
said,
more of a safety issue.
Yeah, I'd heard that,
yeah.
I'd heard that before too.
And we can always add it on, but, and if you feel we should put it on, but I know Dan was saying that was his big concern is we've had issues with them jamming up. So, and then he was looking at the shipping and handling that we would actually go pick it up ourselves. It's only in Minnesota. We take a truck up there and pick it up for less than $500.
That's the reason it's underlined.
Yeah, so basically, if we look at just the unit itself, it'd be that 17,528.
That's the motion I'll make then for
Yes,
this unit itself, for the brush wolf.
Second. Motion been made second to do the move, rotary brush cutter, just the cutter. Any other discussion? All in favor?
All right,
Any opposed? Passes. I guess we have to make a motion on this UP thing.
I'll make a,
Indefinite. Okay.
I'll make a motion that we postpone, 7F on our agenda, indefinitely.
Second. Motion been made second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, got it. Number 8, A, resolution, bridge budget adjustments for, what is that? EMA?
Yeah, so that was my last minute, item that I presented to you. I was looking through my packet and didn't even realize I didn't even have it in there, so. So this is a budget adjustment to add, additional work that we are completing for the DOT that was not budgeted for 2023. So these are PBM projects, which is performance-based project. I believe it's, deck washing and sealing, and then routing and crack filling. So that is actually what we're doing currently right now on Highway 25 and 170. So that is a PPM project that we are doing.
so what it is money coming in, money going out.
So this is dollars that we have contracted with. So if we say it's $82,000 and it costs us $75,000, they give us $82,000. What if this is a contract? What if it costs $85,000? We eat the cost on the county level there. That's what I was just wondering.
Yeah, we won't get no donuts.
Shut it down. In my career here, Brian, it has never happened.
Oh, okay, okay. There's less cracks all of a sudden at the end of the street, okay?
What happens when you're a contractor contracted by yourself, you don't lose money. I'm
There you
just
go.
telling you that.
No, go ahead, you got her.
I'll make a motion to accept the resolution.
Yeah, all right. What's been made in second? Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Aye. Passes.
He votes no while he's on all alone.
He's on, I can't, he's moving on here. We already did the county ATV. Next meeting is June 14th. Any other questions? Any other comments? If not, we're
Already.
adjourned. That's all.